Welcome back to another episode of Full Retard. Today I have more entitled parent stories for you. First up, entitled mom and bratty kid accomplished the task of hurting, humiliating, and almost getting me arrested over a Nintendo DS by Fireball 99K. I was talking with my friend about this experience and he told me to post it here. So enjoy my experience about me and this unbelievable Karen. First of all, I need to say that English isn't my first language, so there might be some grammar errors. Forgive me about it. This took place last year in the end of summer while I was waiting for my flight in the airport after a vacation with my family in Italy. The airport was pretty empty that day, despite it was supposed to be traffic due to the big amount of people coming back from vacations. Anyways, I was playing with my Nintendo to kill some time since my flight was late and I wanted to preserve my phone battery. I forgot the power back at home. So me, 20, was quietly playing when this woman, who looked like 40 or younger, and his son, probably 10 judging by height, placed in front of me and started complaining about the flights being late and that she had business, etc. I stopped listening to her because I put on my earphones in an attempt to escape her complaining about this and that. I can't stand listening to complaining that doesn't concern me. Time passes and a notice comes out from the speaker saying that my flight was going to delay again. Sighing, I put back on my earphones, and that's the moment where the show starts. Entitled mom comes at me with his kid and asks me something. I remove my earphones and the conversation goes like this. Entitled mom, excuse me. Yes, do you need something, ma'am? Yes, please. You see, my kid is getting very bored here, so I wondered if you could borrow him your video game to let him relax until our flight arrives. Nothing wrong till here, but you see, I don't trust random kids since every time I borrowed something to them, an item would be returned to me scratched, smudged, or even broken. So it was a no. I'm sorry for the little brat. The moment I said no, things started escalating. The tone of the woman changed from polite to arrogant, and the volume had rose, and the kid was giving me puppy eyes, started to give stink eyes. And tell him, Mom, but why? You're not a kid anymore. You look like 25 or something, and you still play video games? Why don't you give that toy to my son so he can kill some time? You don't need it this much. To be honest, if the kid would have promised to use it near me and return it to me intact, I could have given up and let him play. Because he was a kid after all. I know that they become nervous if they don't have anything to do for a while, but the very moment entitled mom started speaking arrogantly, she lost every hope with me. Listen, ma'am, I don't borrow my stuff to strangers for a matter of principle. So, even if you were some famous person, my answer still would be no. Plus, I recommend to lower your voice because people are watching us. I didn't really check if people were watching us, but it was clear by listening to the volume of her voice that anyone would have looked toward us. Well, I don't care if people are watching us. Even better, because this way everyone will know how much selfish and childish you are, not borrowing a stupid video game to a kid. The conversation was getting out of hand. I could feel the glares of the strangers in the airport looking at me, thinking I'm some sort of monster, and instead of saying anything that could worsen the situation, I decided to keep calm and go on. Ma'am, the only one acting childish here is you. Lower your voice before someone calls the security on you. The security will be called on you for being an absolute a-hole. And when they will arrive, I will have that stupid video game of yours be confiscated, you little S. I was starting to lose my patience, and I quietly say, almost grinding my teeth and still not moving from my seat, this conversation is over. Please leave and don't show your face near me again for your sake. I know that sounded like a threat, but the reaction was as cringe as hilarious. Are you threatening me? Oh, you are so effed up. I'm going to report you for threats. I thought the conversation was going to end, and that she was going to complain to the manager or something. Typical things that Karens do. It was the first time for me dealing with this type of person. Everything could be fine as long as she leaves me alone, but the real started now. While I was putting my earphones back, the woman snatched them from me, and while I was going to say something, the little turd did something that changed forever my views about kids. In short, he came closer and spit on my shirt. I started seeing red. You little brat, I say while trying to move away the brat with my leg, not trying to kick him or anything. Entitled mom screaming like crazy, "Don't you dare hurt my son!" After that sentence, she tries to slap me, but I grab her by her arm promptly before her hand reached my face. If she had succeeded in slapping me, I swear I would have done something that I would have regretted for years to come. She started screaming and asking for help, even screeching that I was molesting her, and someone started moving in our way in an attempt to stop the tumult. But that wasn't necessary, because the little excuse for a human child does something I didn't even think kids were capable of in terms of malignancy. He punched me in the genitals. That little brat with legs and arms was so malefic to punch a grown-up in the genitals. That kid was fully aware of the weak point of a male, yet he did it. Unbelievable. The pain does little except fueling the rage that was boiling in me. I must say, I'm a very patient person and all, but when I lose my temper, I don't have any self-control, so it always ends up bad. And that was going to end very bad for both me and them. I stand up from the chair and push away the woman, which starts demonstrating with her son their impressing act skill. She rolls on the floor screaming, and the little turd has the courage to fake a cry while several people were getting close. I was confused, enraged, and shocked. I never dealt with someone who could be so malefic and shameless. I was literally speechless and frozen in place with my fists closed in pain for the punch received in my sack. While standing still looking at the pathetic show she was giving, I feel someone grabbing my hands and handcuffing them. It was the security guard who clearly misunderstood and judged by the last scenes. He then escorted me to the white room with nothing but a table and started asking me questions after I calmed down. Everything I answered to those questions was, check the camera registration and you'll see. I was frustrated and angered, and I didn't want to say anything at all. But I was thankful at the guard, too, for removing me from that place before I could get my hands on that woman. Something like 20 minutes passes, and the guard comes back and hands me a bottle of water. He was an understanding person after all, luckily. Guard, you can go, and forgive me for the cuts. Your suitcases are in the other room. Would you like to press charges for aggression? I didn't want that money, and just wanted to go back home without further complications, so I refused, but I had to take a final satisfaction before taking my flight. The speakers announced that my flight was ready, so before I could go, I reached out to Karen and her son, who were standing in the seat. I was earlier quietly like nothing happened. I touched her kid in the shoulder and says, I think this belongs to you. You need it more than me, I say while bringing out the Nintendo. The moment I bring out the console, the little turd eyes became like cat eyes when they are in the dark, and her mother grinning in satisfaction as she thinks she obtained what she wanted. No, little turd, did she know. Before handing it to him, I snapped it in 2 pieces, and I get a taste of their shocked faces. I dump the broken console on the legs of the little brat as I take my leave, hearing pointless talks in my back. It was the worst experience of my life, and made me discover that kids can be devils too, and I couldn't end giving it one to that pathetic woman in her show. Single mothers who think everyone must get the world upside down just because they say it. When I think about it, I get overwhelmed with anger and disappointment, but then I think about the sweet revenge. I still can't believe it, and when I read that there are other similar persons, my feelings goes to whoever has to deal with these piece of crats. P.S. For those wondering if breaking the console was worth it, yes, it was very old anyways, and all the saved data was on the R4, so I had no problem in breaking it. Up next, Mom tells my entire family I'm in labor because her psychic Pendulum told her so, even though I wasn't, by Moroso 3. My mom loves spiritual, psychic, yoga, and meditation type of stuff, and has this pendulum that she made with her psychic friends, which consists of a large crystal, a calendar, and a Ouija board kind of setup. If you have read my previous post about my mother, you will know that she is literally insane, and I have barely had any contact with her at all these past 9 months. Since I have been pregnant, she has some crazy idea that my child is not mine, but it's hers. She even messaged me the other day with a picture of her in a rocking chair and the caption, waiting for my baby to arrive. So I guess with that whole line of thinking, she feels the need to tell me when I'm in labor instead of telling her when I'm in labor. I'm 5 days past my due date currently, and it is uncommon for first-time moms to go. It isn't uncommon for first-time moms to go a week or 2 past their due dates. But in the same sense, it's pretty frustrating around for these past few weeks just waiting to go into labor and nothing happens. Not to mention, I have been having a lot of false labor symptoms, and I've been starting to feel sad because I don't know when my baby will be here, or if she will come at all. Worries about a possible emergency induction and all kinds of things have been flooding my mind. So having not only my mother, but also my entire family and many friends asking me daily if the baby is here yet definitely adds to my stress. I woke up this morning with dozens of missed calls and texts. I turn my phone off when I sleep because I've had bad insomnia for months, and my phone notifications wake me up easily. I check the messages and it is filled with people asking for pictures of the baby, how excited they are that she is here, asking for my hospital room number to come visit, as if that were even an option because there's like a pandemic going on. Extremely frustrated, I call my aunt and ask her how on earth she thought I was in labor when I didn't even say anything to anyone, because I am not. She responded with a sad tone saying that my mom sent out a mass text telling everyone her psychic pendulum said I was in labor today. First of all, why the F would I not tell my family when I was in labor? It's not like I'm trying to hide my baby away from the world. I can't wait to be able to make that announcement. Second of all, why does my mother feel the need to make that announcement? She didn't even want to confirm with me if I was in labor or not. It's not her baby. She knows nothing. Side tip, for anyone who knows someone about to have a baby, please do not harass pregnant women by asking them when their baby is coming. We don't know, and I assure you that whenever the baby comes, we will be overjoyed to let you and everyone else know. Asking us again and again doesn't make them come any faster, in turn only makes the mom upset. Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. This really helps the channel, as does liking the video. Subscribe to our podcast and like us on Facebook.